Here at Katech, we receive hundreds of questions from our followers each week. We can't answer them all, but we can answer 10 questions. What's the long-term goal for the StreetSpeed717 car? Harding Motorsports bought the StreetSpeed717 Z06 with the intention to sell the car. So we brought it to Katech to turn it into the Stage 3 package. It's going to be about 800 horsepower. We've removed the wing because not everybody liked the wing. Some people do, some people don't. It makes it easier to sell without the wing. We'll also be removing the Lamborghini-style doors and touching up some things on the body. And then we will be installing the Level 3 aero parts from GM. Will you build a wide-body C7 at some time? That sounds like a cool idea. Currently, we're not developing any wide-body kits for the C7. We're focusing on new products for the C7 Z06 and looking forward to the new C7 ZR1. What's the coolest car you've worked on? We've worked on a lot of amazing cars here at Katech. I especially like a lot of the new C7 Z06s that we've been building. The Apex car was amazing. We've done some pro-charged stuff on a C7 Z06 that's been pretty awesome. Of course, my C7 Z06 is obviously my favorite. But I think one of the coolest cars we worked on here is a bit different. We did a 427 for a Mosler MT900 several years back. And that was a nice change of pace in the shop. Mid-engine, rear-wheel drive supercar, getting American-made 650 horsepower naturally aspirated engine with a dry sump system upgrade. And that car only weighed about 2,400 pounds. So it was quite a beast. And we stickered the car up with some Katech graphics and took it to one of our track days. I also drove it on the street, and it had to get more attention than any other car I've ever driven on the street. People were just stopping at red lights trying to ask what kind of car that was. So that was a lot of fun to drive that car and build that and see that in our shop. It is an LS engine, which is our area of expertise, but not your usual car, as we see a lot of Corvettes and Camaros in here. So it was nice to see the Mosler in the shop. What car had the biggest horsepower difference from when it came in to when it left? This is a tough one to answer because we built so many cars, and it's really hard to remember the difference between baseline and completed. And a lot of our customers come in and do things in stages. We've had customers come in that do a head and cam package, and then a year later they might get an engine build, and then a couple of years later they want more power, and we're going to add a supercharger. So sometimes it's levels. I mean, there's been cars like a C6 Z06 that might make 425 rear-wheel horsepower baseline. And at the end of the project, we've made 915 rear-wheel horsepower with the pro-charged 427 RHS-based engine. But sometimes that progression takes several years. The customer comes back and changes it. So, but if a customer did everything at once, what's the biggest one? The Apex car was a pretty big jump in that car baselined. If I remember the numbers off the top of my head, around 540 rear-wheel horsepower. And when we were done, made 769 rear-wheel horsepower. So that was a big jump all in one set. What is it that Katech puts on their cars to make E85 work better and gain power? So when using E85, you need to make sure that you have the adequate fuel supply. So you need to have a fuel pump that can supply the volume necessary and large enough injectors to support the power necessary also. A lot of these modern cars, they already have the rest of the fuel system that is E85 capable. Older cars may need fuel lines and other things like that, but the C7 already has everything we need from a component compatibility standpoint. It just needs more flow. So we have a surge tank system on the C7 Z06. It holds 6 liters of fuel. The factory fuel pump supplies the surge tank. The surge tank has 2 350-liter power pump that supply the engine. On some of the larger power cars, like a recent C7R edition, we're also upgrading the DI pump with greater flow capability. And of course, the injectors are required to flow more fuel. E85 requires about 30% more fuel volume versus E0 gasoline. So you need to make sure that your fuel system can supply that much for the engine. We have found that boosted cars react very well to E85 due to the higher octane and the intercooling effect of the alcohol. We've tested on naturally aspirated cars and honestly haven't picked up that much, whereas on boosted cars, we've seen 30, 40, 50 horsepower difference from the E85 due to the cooler boost charge. And of course, tuning is done to accommodate that. And we also add a flex fuel sensor on the car, so you can mix E10 standard 93 octane premium fuel with E85, and the computer will sort out the alcohol percentage and adjust the calibration accordingly. You could run pure 93 octane E10, or you can run pure E85, or any combination thereof, and the timing table will be changed based on the ethanol content. Just remember, engine calibration has to be done to activate the flex fuel sensor and run E85. This is not something you can just add to your tank without proper engine calibration. If you have a boosted car that you would like to run on E85, bring it into Katech and we'll evaluate the fuel system and upgrade the pump and the injectors. We'll add a flex fuel sensor, and then we'll do a calibration so that you can run any mixture of E85 and E10. What types of vehicles do you typically service? Just Corvettes or more? Here at Katech, we specialize in all late model GM V8 powered cars. So not only Corvettes, but Cadillac CTS-Vs, Pontiac G8s, Camaros, Firebirds, trucks like your Trailblazer SS or your Silverado, the new Chevy SS, and anything late model GM V8 LS or LT powered. So that's going to be anything from 1997 and newer when you're talking about the Corvette. How long does it take to do the average build? That depends on what you mean by the average build. Some of the standard head and cam packages can be done in 3 or 4 weeks. Some of the more extensive builds, like if we're going to remove the engine and build it, dyno it, put it back in the car, can take a couple months or more. Or if we're doing additional cooling systems, suspension, brakes, wheels, tires, and interiors, that can take a longer amount of time. What is your most recommended C7 Z06 mod? Well, I would recommend our Stage 4 package because it's 860 horsepower on E85 and it's unbelievable. But I don't think that's what you're asking. I think you were looking for the an entry-level modification that you could do. I would say our ported throttle body is very popular. You could pick up a few horsepower and a lot of customers are reporting improved throttle response. What are your thoughts on the new ZR1? We think GM did a fantastic job with the new ZR1, and we're especially excited about the supercharger with its increased capacity, and the port-assisted direct injection fuel system should support a lot more power in the future. Why should potential customers choose Katech over any other shop? By the way, this is a real question we got on Instagram. This isn't something that we just threw in there. So why choose Katech over other shops? I think we offer an incredible amount of racing legacy that we put into our street cars and our private individuals track day cars. We've won Le Mans 6 times. We have won many championships in C5R and C6R Corvettes, and that legacy goes back 40 years through Trans Am, IMSA, the IROC Series, NASCAR, IndyCar. So we take this 40 years of expertise and we put this into your package. The same people who are building your engine have built championship-winning Le Mans race engines. We may not be the lowest cost, but oftentimes we're not the most expensive. What we feel is we offer incredible value for your money. This has been 10 questions, new from Katech. Look for more answers in the weeks to come.